Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Wine and Code. I'm your host, Chris Minnick. Today we're going to be talking about wine and we're going to be talking about code. So when you think about where great Cabernet Sauvignon comes from, you might think Napa Valley. And you'd be right. But Napa Valley cabs have a way of breaking your bank. So today we're going to talk about some great Cabernet from a region that has striking similarities to Napa, but that won't break your bank. If you look at where Napa is on the map, it's about 38.5 degrees north latitude. And that zone, combined with the tempering effect of the Pacific Ocean, creates a climate that's perfect for growing grapes. Now, if you fold the globe in half, you'll see that California has a southern hemisphere clone. It's much longer than California, but it overlaps California in the lines of latitude. So here's Napa Valley. It sits at about 38.5 degrees north latitude, has a Mediterranean climate with a large variation in temperature from day to night, has rocky soils, it has dry summers that stress the vines and produce complex and delicious Cabernet Sauvignon. Typically, Napa cabs range from around $50 to several $100s. And today's wine comes from the Maipo Valley in Chile, which is at about 33.5 degrees south latitude. Rocky soils, large variation in temperature from day to night, Mediterranean climate, dry summers that stress the vines and produce great Cabernet Sauvignons. The wine I'm drinking today is from Casas del Bosque, and like many Chilean wines, this one is very reasonably priced. I think I paid like $15 for this. This is a 2014 Gran Reserva from Maipo Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. So let's open it up. So this is beautiful color. It's dark. It just looks really purple. Good looking wine. So it smells great. I smell heat, like herbs, cedar, smoke. And the taste is smoky. There's some bell pepper, smoky stuff. This is delicious. This would go. So I record these videos on my iPhone 6, and I was in the middle of recording this episode, and somebody called me, which I guess turns off the video camera. And it wasn't even anybody important. It was a telemarketer or something. But the video cut off, and I did the rest of the episode before I got up and found out that the video had cut off. So I'm 3 glasses of wine in at this point, but I'm going to pour another glass of wine, and I'm going to continue the episode here. So the coding question today is from someone who's asking, I have all the time in the world, I'm broke, I want to learn to be a full stack web developer. Help me, Chris, what do I do? So first of all, you're very fortunate to be in this position. You know, you're broke, but you're not so broke that you don't have a computer, I'm assuming. You have enough food that you can spend some time thinking about learning something rather than looking for food. You have a place to sleep. Sleep is very important during the next few months of your process. And you have internet access. And if you have internet access and a computer and a place to sleep and enough food that you don't have to go spending all your time looking for food, there's wonderful things that you can do. A full stack web developer is someone who writes the front end of websites. So the things that we see, the graphics, the buttons, the text on a website. as well as the back end, the things that you don't see. The data, how the data interacts with the web browser, where all the user accounts and all this stuff is stored, databases, web servers, that's the back end. Put it all together, this is called full stack. And it's an awful lot of things that you need to know to be a full stack web developer, which makes full stack web developers be very much in demand and sort of a rare commodity these days when everybody kind of is trying to specialize just because there's so much to know. So what do you got to learn? What I recommend is starting with something like WordPress. I'm assuming you know nothing about web development, so WordPress is a good place to start. You can learn to install WordPress on a remote server. I have another video you can check out that's how to create a free web hosting account. You can create a free web hosting account and upload WordPress to it, install WordPress on this server, set up a database for WordPress, all this stuff. You're going to learn some important skills just by doing that. Then you're going to learn how to use WordPress, which is nothing fancy. I know a lot of people who call themselves web developers who don't know anything but WordPress. And you can, learn how to set up a theme in WordPress, a child theme, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. And then once you know that, you'll know more than most WordPress developers, and you can, if you want, go out looking for work as a WordPress web developer. But don't stop there. Don't stop with WordPress. There's so much more to know. There's so much more to learn. So start with HTML. You can learn HTML from multiple online tutorials, and you can learn it in a few hours, the basics. CSS, you can learn the basics in like a day. And then I would go on to learn how web servers work. You can install a free web server called MAMP on your Mac or PC, and you can figure that out, read the documentation, find out how to configure the Apache web server. Super important. And then you're going to need to know JavaScript. And you're going to need to know JavaScript really well. JavaScript should be your number one focus. There are a lot of good books on JavaScript, including some that are co-authored by me. And you could check those out, but you have no money. You're going to do this without spending any money. So maybe you put off eating for a couple, don't eat lunch and go out and buy my book. But you really want to learn JavaScript, and you want to learn it well because you're going to be using JavaScript a lot. And JavaScript is sort of the foundation of the modern web application. And you might spend several weeks learning JavaScript. Learn the theory first, and then start building something with it. Find some kind of practical project, something that you need to know or something you need to do around the house that requires programming. You can make that with JavaScript. Figure it out. And then you're going to want to learn Node. So you install Node on your own computer, and it is a way of using JavaScript on the server. You can start learning some Node. You don't need to know much at this point. Figure out enough so you can set up a Node server and connect to a database. And you're going to want to learn MongoDB for the database so that you can connect to the database, return some things to the web browser. Pretty cool stuff. And then you're going to start running into all kinds of things at this point. In your reading, in the videos you're watching, because you're going to watch a lot of videos on YouTube because that's also important. And start making lists. Start a Google Docs folder and start putting things in there. Listing things, or keep a notebook, a physical notebook. You can just write down all these commands and things that you're going to learn about in the future. And there's going to be millions and millions and millions of them. And this thing's going to be really thick, but you're going to keep track of all this stuff so that when the time comes, you can learn this stuff and you don't forget about it, or when you need to reuse that command that you use to install something with the Node package manager or NPM, you're going to know what that command was. You're going to need to know things to start web servers and stop web servers. Keep the stuff organized. You might just write it down like one time and then later on go back when you know more and reorganize it and put tabs in your notebook and all this, but stay organized and don't start playing video games with your free time. You've got all this time, make use of it. If you're a front-end web developer, you're gonna be like, if you're a full stack web developer, you're gonna be like a superstar. Keep your eye on the prize because this is fun stuff. There's a lot to know. You could be a superstar, and not just in your Minecraft, World of Warcraft, world of whatever. Just do it. Learn some stuff and get good at it. I'm envious of someone who says they have all the time in the world, and this is an opportunity. You can do great things. Drink some wine too. Watch my videos. If you like this video, please subscribe, comment, like, subscribe, share. Leave some comments. Ask me questions if you have questions about how to become a full stack web developer or about learning to program or about wine, and I'll happily answer them all. Thank you.